Vice President JD Vance sat down for an interview with ABC anchor George Stephanopoulos on Sunday, and it didn't go well. Stephanopoulos pressed Vance on the allegations of border czar Tom Homan taking a allegedly $50,000 bribe.
Now, Vance denied the claim and called it, quote, a ridiculous smear. That's when things just started to get heated.
You are focused on a bogus story. You're insinuating criminal wrongdoing against a guy who has done nothing wrong instead of focusing on the fact that our country is struggling because our government's shut down. Let's talk about the real issues, George. I think the American people would benefit much more from that than from you going down some weird left-wing rabbit hole where the facts clearly show that Tom Homan didn't engage in any criminal wrongdoing.
It's not a weird left-wing rabbit hole. I didn't insinuate anything. I asked you whether Tom Homan accepted $50,000, as was heard on an audio tape recorded by the FBI in September 2024, and you did not answer the question. Thank you for your time this morning.
No,
Well,
George, I said that I don't.
Up next, we'll be right back.
You can see at the end there, Vance gets cut off as ABC goes to commercial break. The vice president later took to X to reiterate his point. He writes, peace in the Middle East, China threatening critical supply chains, government shutdown. George S. doesn't care about that. He's here to focus on the real story, a fake scandal involving Tom Homan. Over to News commended Vance for his response, saying VP Vance absolutely dismantled George Stephanopoulos on live TV after he tried to smear border czar Tom Homan with a bogus bribery narrative. Within seconds, Vance flipped the script, exposed why the media is really going after Homan.
Now, the case against Homan goes back to 2024, alleging that he took $50,000 in cash from undercover FBI agents. Homan most recently said last month that, quote, he did nothing criminal, but he stopped short of denying that he took the money at all. Vance repeatedly says in the interview he doesn't know if Homan took the money or not, but he's sure that no crime was committed. Democrats weren't very convinced by that answer. New Jersey Senator Andy Kim writes on Blue Sky, quote, if that's the best talking point that White House lawyers could come up with to prep BP for a Sunday show, I think we know what the real answer is. Release the Homan tape.
Well, he answered the question that Vance did, that the administration's position is nothing illegal was done, and
but why is saying yes or no to the money?
He said he didn't have enough relevant information to answer that question. It's a fine question. I don't have any problem with Stephanopoulos asking him about it, but he got an answer from Vance, and he just continued on. He was only interested in talking about that, and Vance eventually got I don't think impolite about it, was just, well, I've told you what I know, and let's move on to something else. And Stephanopoulos didn't want to do that, so then Vance, got into why you're failing in low ratings and no one cares, and that's fine. And then he tried to get the last word and cut him off, which was rude, but it's his show, so.
So Vance should know the answer to that. There's tax implications even when you accept $50,000. And in order to report your tax income, it's mandatory to get a job at the White House and be in the administration, right? They should have combed through all your files. So that's an easy phone call for Vance to find out if he ever accepted the money after months of talking about this. I mean, $50,000 is nothing to sneeze at. So they should know, even if it was a gift or a bribe, it's something you must report on your taxes. It's the law. And so he should know that. He shouldn't be,
Well, there's no way he has the money was kept by him, I don't think.
Well, it's just to be that simple. Yes or no, then he should know. It should be reported, or was it not reported on your taxes?
Accepting the money, I don't think there's any way he has the money.
The accusation is explosive, so it's worth talking about.
It's that an undercover FBI agent essentially tried to trap him.
Gave him $50,000 stuffed in an alleged kava bag, which is the food store, stuffed it in there, handed it to him, and he accepted it. And so it's like with that was an exchange to do what the undercover FBI allegedly wanted you to do.
Right, but the undercover FBI agent is not a sincere deal because the person is the
right,
FBI.
But this is not about Democrats or Republicans. This is about no one wanting a government in which officials accept bribes in order to do different things in government.
Lindsay,
I wouldn't want that.
If I put a couple $20 bills in here, handed this to you.
I'm not a government official.
Put your hand out.
So I take your money for sure.
Gotcha. Pull her away.
I'm not a government official. If you say, Lindsay, be nice to me today and give me $60, I can do that because you know what? I'm not a government official.
But I'm saying you might just accept it because I caught you.
So then just say you took the money. Just say you took the money. People are asking.
But I have a different. You see how it might be technically taking the money, but it was not a criminal matter.
There was also
should not have been schemed and gamed out by the FBI in the first place, trying to entrap this official?
You give a lot of grace when you want to, and that's fine. But
I'm just skeptical of the FBI. I'm skeptical of law enforcement. Didn't the left used to be skeptical of law enforcement?
I'm skeptical of it too.
Doesn't the FBI entrap people?
I don't think that we should just completely move away from the topic just because we're skeptical of law enforcement. We should definitely still have a conversation about whether or not Tom Homan was being investigated at the time, because President Trump said, we're done with this. Like, move on. Was it worth the investigation? You like to see things through. You want Letitia James to be looked into, and if she's innocent, she's innocent. And so, same thing with Tom Homan. Let's keep the same energy. I think a red flag for me.
I am not standing in the way of an investigation of this whatsoever. I would.
Yeah, the president is.
Certainly like to know more information.
The administration is. Fine. And the first red flag for me was that Caroline Leavitt went and she gave an inconsistent response in the beginning to the allegations. She said specifically, she told reporters that he did not accept the money, and now the answer has changed, obviously as advised by lawyers, to he did nothing criminal. And that's what you heard JD Vance say, that's what you heard Homan say, and that's the same thing as when somebody's like, I plead the fifth, I plead the fifth. It feels very much like you were coached by a lawyer to not get in trouble because you did allegedly accept the money. Now, while I think that ABC could have certainly done a better job and George Stephanopoulos asking more questions about some more pressing issues and making that the priority for the conversation, I don't think that the Homan conversation should have been off the table just because JD Vance is uncomfortable with answering that question that he easily could have gotten an answer to about whether that man accepted $50,000.
I want to know what prompted the FBI to put together this
I'd love
plan.
to know that too.
Isn't that interesting?
I would love to know that.
Do they just routinely do this to every major political figure?
Maybe somebody tipped him off, though.
Tipped him off to what?
That he was accepting bribes to do business.
So he's accepted other bribes.
I don't know. I can't make that up.
But
I'm
saying that is not the accusation. The accusation is that this bribe,
yes,
it was not actually a real bribe because it was from law enforcement.
Okay, so
I'm saying what made them decide to do that?
Let's use an example. If you're a cop trying to get a drug dealer, and you sell the drug dealer drugs to try to get him in an act,
right,
then you catch him like that. But because someone told you he was selling drugs, or there's some proof that he was selling drugs, so that's the same thing.
Okay, but I'm
not saying.
But I haven't seen that in none of the reporting. Have they said the FBI decided to conduct a sting because they had evidence that Tom Homan had been previously accepted? Do you know what I'm saying?
Which is why I want to see more information be released. But President Trump and the administration canceled the entire investigation, so we will never know why they were looking into Tom Homan. And even if it was just this Democratic hoax, like President Trump likes to call everything, let us find out. Let us know and tell us the information. But instead, everyone's saying he didn't commit a crime. He didn't commit a crime. And so that looks interesting and looks different as a response to when President feels he's 100% accurate about something being a hoax, and he says that out loud.
If Trump phoned in an anonymous tip to the FBI, like Adam Schiff's accepting bribes, the FBI would just put together a sting and see if they could get him to accept a bag full of money.
If the FBI is full of
I think you
Trump
would have a problem
administration's
with
team,
that if they did that.
I do, but I want to look into what's actually available. Like we're talking about Letitia James, her niece lived in her home. So I think that's a problem with trying to prosecute her. I'm trying to figure out why Tom Homan was being looked into.
Well, now who's being selective about
No, I said show me the smoke with the fire. Her niece lives in her home. So we can follow through with this, but her niece lives there. And this is on the record. What is Tom Homan doing? He won't say whether or not he accepted the funds, whether it was undercover or not. He won't say what led them to investigate him. Everyone's being quiet.
Unless he accepted, again, if he actually accepted bribes in some other context, again, he didn't accept a bribe here because it was not actually a bribe. It was the FBI doing it. It was not a real thing. No animals were harmed in the making of this sting. Up next, Congressman Tim Burchett went on Tucker Carlson to discuss UFOs. We'll be right back after this.